What if I told you that in the heart of Texas, there's a place so haunted, it's been abandoned for decades? A place where the echoes of the past refuse to be silenced. Texas is vast, home to sweeping landscapes and a history that stretches back centuries. But hidden within this land are some of the most terrifying places, haunted by the spirits of those who met tragic, violent ends. Today, we're going to explore 10 locations that carry dark secrets, where the restless dead still wander, trapped by their past. These places have been witnesses to bloodshed, loss, and despair. From abandoned hospitals to desolate bridges and hotels that refuse to let go of their tragic stories. Each of these locations holds a legend so chilling, it will make you question whether these spirits will ever truly rest. Brace yourself, because we're about to step into a world where the living dare not tread. Haunted place number 1. The Menger Hotel, San Antonio. The sound of footsteps echoes through the empty halls, soft and slow at first. You think it's just the creak of the old wooden floors beneath you, until the footsteps stop. But the air? It's thick, too thick. The temperature drops, and a cold breeze brushes against the back of your neck. You freeze, a chill running down your spine. And then you hear it, a soft sobbing, distant but close enough to make your heart race. You turn around, but the hallway is empty. Only the lingering scent of old wood and the weight of forgotten stories fill the air. Welcome to the Menger Hotel, where the past hasn't just stayed behind. It lingers, it haunts, and it reaches for those who dare to walk its halls. Built in 1859, this historic hotel is a luxurious relic of a bygone era. But within its grand walls, there are whispers of a far darker legacy, one of tragic suicides, unexplainable deaths, and spirits that refuse to leave. The Menger Hotel was once the grandest hotel in Texas, where famous figures like Theodore Roosevelt and Stephen F. Austin stayed. But the weight of its history goes beyond royal visits and lavish dinners. Behind its ornate facades, dark events unfolded, each leaving a scar on the building, each fueling the hauntings that have plagued it for over a century. But among all the tragic tales, one stands out. It's said that a maid, who once worked at the hotel, took her own life within these walls. Her ghost is the most persistent, her sobs echoing through the hallways at night, as if she's still searching for someone, still seeking an answer to a life cut short too soon. You walk deeper into the hotel, the air growing heavier, as if the building itself is holding its breath. The story of the maid's death, her suicide, has been passed down for years. But it isn't just her tragedy that has left its mark on the hotel. It's the souls of others who met violent ends here, the spirits of guests who never checked out. Their restless energy, their unfinished business, all trapped in a loop within these walls. And then there's Stephen F. Austin. His ghost, too, has been seen drifting through the lobby, watching over the place he once frequented. But unlike the others, he's not sorrowful. There's a presence of something darker, something far more troubling in the hotel's history, something tied to the land and its past. You hear a creak on the staircase, slow, deliberate. It's as if someone's walking up the steps behind you. But when you turn, the staircase is empty. The air is colder, the temperature dropping by the second. And just as you think it's your imagination playing tricks, the sobbing starts again, closer this time. It's as though the maid's ghost is right behind you, the sound of her weeping a constant reminder that she never truly left. But it doesn't stop there. Other guests have reported more than just eerie sounds. Some have witnessed the ghost of Stephen F. Austin, his figure appearing as a shadow, tall and imposing, standing at the end of the hallway, staring directly at them. When they try to approach, he vanishes without a trace, leaving only the echo of footsteps fading into the darkness. There are stories of rooms where the temperature plummets for no reason at all, and the unsettling feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Some claim they've felt icy hands graze their skin, as if the ghosts are reaching out, attempting to make contact, pulling them into a world where the living no longer belong. And then there's the more tangible evidence. the EVPs captured by investigators in the hotel's most haunted areas. Recorded whispers saying, "Leave me," and the unmistakable sound of footsteps on empty floors. Guests have felt the sensation of invisible hands brushing against their skin, some even reporting strange lights flickering in the mirrors, showing reflections that don't match the reality around them. Even furniture has been known to move, chairs sliding across the floor with no one near them, glasses tipping over by themselves, as if the spirits here are desperate to make their presence known. In recent years, paranormal investigators have ventured into the Menger, armed with thermal cameras and EVP recorders. One team, using an EVP recorder, caught a chilling whisper, "I'm still here." And then, on the thermal camera, they saw it, a shadow moving through the corridor, darker than the shadows around it, as though it was a part of the hotel itself. When they reviewed the footage later, they found that the shadow had moved against the flow of the investigation team, as if it was observing them, or perhaps following them. Other reports tell of temperature shifts so sudden that investigators could see their breath in the air, a clear sign that something unnatural was at play. The Menger Hotel has been a beacon for paranormal enthusiasts for decades, and its reputation only grows with each passing year. For visitors brave enough to stay the night, it's more than just a place to sleep. It's a gateway into a world where the living and the dead exist side by side. Many leave with more than just memories. They leave with a lingering sense of unease, a reminder that some places are never truly abandoned. But no matter how many guests come and go, the spirits of the Menger Hotel remain, trapped within its walls, their stories never fully told. And for those who venture into the heart of San Antonio, the question remains, will you be the next one to cross paths with a restless soul? Haunted place number 2, the Alamo. San Antonio, you step onto the cracked stone ground, your shoes scraping against the ancient surface. The air feels heavy, as if the very earth beneath you is soaked in something more than just history. You feel a sudden chill crawl up your spine, even though the day is warm. The silence here is oppressive, thick, as if time itself has stopped. Only it hasn't. It's still here, that thing from the past, lingering like a shadow. Then, just as you begin to breathe easier, you hear it. A faint sound at first, like whispers carried on the wind. But they're not whispers, they're battle cries. The sound of men shouting in the heat of war, and the unmistakable clash of swords. This is the Alamo, a place synonymous with courage, yes, but also drenched in bloodshed. The spirits of soldiers who died here, their lives cut short in the brutal 1836 battle, refuse to leave. Their souls are restless, trapped forever in the very walls where they fought and died. Built in 1724, the Alamo was originally established as a Spanish mission. But it wasn't until the infamous 1836 battle during the Texas Revolution that its fate as one of the most haunted places in America was sealed. Over 180 Texans fought to the death here, facing off against overwhelming Mexican forces. When the battle ended, the Alamo was littered with bodies, and the ground was stained with the blood of those who made their final stand. It's said that this tragic loss, the cries of the fallen, and the violence of the battle all became imprinted in the walls and the grounds. The haunting began soon after, with strange occurrences and eerie whispers filling the air. Some say the spirits of the soldiers who perished here are unable to move on, trapped in a place where their sacrifice was in vain. It's a location that carries the weight of history and the lingering presence of those who died, never truly able to rest. The moment the last of the bloodied bodies were carried away from the Alamo's courtyard, the spirits began to make their presence known. The most notorious among them? The ghost of a soldier, his face full of anguish, walking through the Alamo's halls at night. His rifle slung across his back, he roams the courtyard, seemingly reliving the final moments of his life, his cries joining those of the others who died with him. But it doesn't stop there. Visitors have long reported seeing other soldiers, their faces contorted in pain and fear, wandering the premises. Some appear as mere shadows, glimpsed in the corner of your eye, while others manifest more vividly, their features frozen in the agony of the battle. Imagine walking through the Alamo's inner courtyards late at night, the air thick with tension. You hear the faint sound of boots crunching against the stone, growing louder with each passing second. You turn, expecting to see another tourist, but there's no one there. Just an overwhelming sense of dread. And then, suddenly, you hear it. A blood-curdling scream. A man's voice, desperate, filled with fear. You spin around in terror, and there, in front of you, appears a figure, a soldier, his uniform covered in blood, holding a rifle in his hand. He doesn't look at you. He doesn't acknowledge your presence. He simply walks past, disappearing into the shadows just as quickly as he appeared. This is the reality for many who visit the Alamo. They report seeing faint figures, some in full battle regalia, marching through the courtyard, their faces locked in an expression of eternal pain. Others claim to have heard the clashing of swords, as though the battle is being replayed over and over again, trapped in a loop of blood and violence. One particularly chilling account comes from a visitor who recalls standing near the chapel. They heard footsteps approaching from behind, growing closer, the sound unmistakable. When they turned around, no one was there, but the faint echo of a distant drum roll filled the air. The soldiers' footsteps had led them to the same spot where, decades earlier, the soldiers fought to the death. It isn't just the apparitions that make the Alamo so unnerving. The very atmosphere of the place seems to be charged with an energy that can't be explained. Guests have reported hearing disembodied voices, shouting commands, or even screaming in agony. These eerie sounds often drift up from the very ground where blood was spilled. Others have experienced cold spots, especially in the areas closest to the chapel and the long-abandoned rooms. It's as if the spirits are still tethered to the place, their anguish still fresh in the air. There are stories of objects moving on their own, papers falling from desks, doors creaking open on their own, as if the spirits are reaching out from the past, desperately trying to communicate. But perhaps the most unsettling of all is the constant feeling of being watched. People report the sensation of being followed, of invisible eyes on them at all times. The walls of the Alamo seem to pulse with this energy, as if the spirits within are still engaged in their eternal struggle. Paranormal investigators have visited the Alamo numerous times, capturing what they believe to be undeniable evidence of the supernatural. One team, using thermal cameras, captured a shadowy figure in the same spot where the ghostly soldier had been seen. When they reviewed the footage, they saw something even more disturbing. The figure wasn't just standing still, it was moving. The ghost walked, rifle in hand, past the camera before disappearing into the darkness. Other investigators have reported capturing EVP recordings, the most disturbing being a clear voice heard saying, "Help me, I'm still here." There are also accounts of strange, inexplicable temperature drops in certain areas of the Alamo, particularly near the courtyard, where the majority of the battle took place. Guests often describe their breath fogging up in the middle of a warm Texas night, as if the spirits are reminding them of the horrors that occurred here. The atmosphere of the Alamo is nothing short of haunting. It is a place where the air feels thick with history, the ground still stained with blood. The Alamo is not just a historical landmark. It's a place where the past refuses to die. The spirits of those who perished here still haunt the land, trapped in the echoes of the battle. The Alamo's dark energy continues to captivate visitors and ghost hunters alike, leaving many with more than just memories. They leave with a sense of dread, a fear that the spirits may have followed them home. For those who dare to visit, the question is never if you will encounter a ghost, but when. Because at the Alamo, the past isn't just remembered, it's alive. Haunted place number 3, the Queen Mary Ghost Ship. Galveston, you board the Queen Mary, a once glorious ocean liner now docked in the dark waters of Galveston, Texas. The ship's grand halls echo with a faint sense of the past, luxury and opulence now replaced by an oppressive stillness. The air smells of salt and decay, a heavy reminder of its long and turbulent history. As you step onto the ship's decks, you hear it. A faint giggle, laughter in the distance, but there's no one around. You stop in your tracks, your heart racing. The sound echoes, but it's not from anyone visible. It's the laugh of Jackie, a young girl who, it is said, still haunts the ship to this day. The Queen Mary was once a marvel of maritime engineering, a luxurious transport vessel that carried passengers across the Atlantic. But beneath its glamorous exterior, it holds a darker legacy, one of death, tragedy, and restless spirits. The Queen Mary was commissioned in 1936 and served as a luxury ocean liner for nearly 2 decades. During World War II, it was converted into a troop ship, and many lives were lost during this time. Hundreds of soldiers died aboard the ship, either in combat or from accidents. The ship's transition back to civilian use after the war didn't erase the heavy shadow cast by its violent past. The Queen Mary now stands as one of the most haunted ships in the world, her decks forever tainted by the lives lost within her walls. The haunting of the Queen Mary is said to stem from the souls of those who perished during the ship's tragic past, especially the young and innocent. One of the most chilling tales is that of Jackie, a little girl who tragically died aboard the ship during its time as a transport vessel. Her spirit, it is said, still roams the decks, her giggles echoing in the dark corners of the ship where the living dare not go. But Jackie is far from the only ghost that lingers here. The Queen Mary is known for its oppressive, eerie energy, with numerous accounts of disembodied footsteps, cold spots, and the unmistakable feeling of being watched from empty cabins. Many visitors to the Queen Mary have shared stories of hearing the unmistakable sound of a child's laughter coming from the hallways, followed by the sound of small feet running just out of sight. Some claim they've even seen Jackie's apparition, a small figure dressed in a white dress, wandering the decks, her sad, ghostly face barely visible through the shadows. Others tell of hearing doors slamming shut on their own as they walk through the empty corridors. A sudden, sharp sound, loud enough to make your heart skip a beat. Yet when you turn to look, there's no one there. The eerie, cold air that fills the hallways is heavy with the sense of being watched, as if the ghosts of the past are still trapped aboard, unable to leave. The Queen Mary is a hotspot for unexplained phenomena. Some visitors have reported an overwhelming sense of being watched, especially when they wander through the ship's more isolated areas, like the engine room or the long, narrow hallways. Cold spots are common, with many guests feeling a chill pass over them unexpectedly, even in the warmer months. In addition to the sounds of footsteps, many guests have experienced strange, inexplicable sensations, a feeling of something brushing past them, or the distinct sense of someone standing just behind them, though no one is there when they turn around. Some guests have even described feeling a sudden drop in pressure, as if the atmosphere has changed in an instant, leaving them gasping for breath. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the Queen Mary for years, hoping to capture evidence of the ship's haunted past. Thermal cameras have picked up unusual cold areas, places that shouldn't be cold, such as the ship's dining rooms and the grand ballroom. Investigators have also captured EVP recordings of voices that seem to answer their questions. Some even report hearing Jackie's giggle coming through their equipment, as if she's still playing, still trying to get the attention of the living. One team, conducting a late-night investigation in the ship's lower decks, recorded a disturbing message: "Get out." The voice was low, almost threatening, sending a shiver down the spine of the investigators who heard it. The Queen Mary has been a legend for decades, a place where the spirits of the past refuse to stay buried. It's a must-see for ghost hunters, thrill seekers, and anyone brave enough to stand on the ship's decks and face the darkness that still resides within. The ship's haunted reputation grows with each passing year, its presence felt by all who dare step aboard. For visitors, the question is never if they'll encounter a spirit, but when. And when they do, they might just hear that eerie giggle behind them, signaling that the past is never truly gone. Haunted place number 4, the Menger Hotel, Austin. You walk through the lobby of Austin's most iconic hotel, the Menger, where the air is thick with history. The opulent surroundings, gleaming marble floors, intricate woodwork, and chandeliers that stretch toward the heavens, seem to be frozen in time. But as you step further, something feels off. A cold draft passes over you despite the warm Texas evening. And then it hits you, that feeling. A sense of dread creeping up your spine, as though someone or something is watching your every move. The hotel is beautiful, yes. But it's not just the elegance that draws you in, it's the whispers from the past that refuse to stay silent. Built in 1886, the Driscoll Hotel has long been a staple of Austin's charm, offering luxury and grandeur to its many guests. But it's also a place where the dead never truly rest. The walls, covered in history, seem to hum with energy, and in its halls, the spirits of those who perished here still walk. The Driscoll Hotel was one of the finest hotels of its time, designed with grandeur in mind. But with its beauty came a dark history. Over the years, the hotel has become notorious for its ghostly inhabitants. The most famous of these is the spirit of a bride, a tragic soul who, heartbroken and desperate, jumped to her death from the hotel's balcony. Her death is said to have occurred on her wedding night. A moment of joy turned to sorrow so deep, the echoes of her despair never left the hotel. And so, her ghost lingers, wandering the halls in search of the love she never got to experience. But this is just the beginning of the dark tales that permeate the Driscoll Hotel. The spirit of the bride, believed to be the first to haunt the hotel, is not the only one tethered to this place. The tragic events surrounding her death seem to have opened the door for other restless souls to slip through. Some believe it's the hotel's bloody past, including suicides, murders, and the many guests who never left, that keeps the spirits from finding peace. But the bride story is the one that stands out, the one that has haunted the hotel's history for over a century. Her death, her sorrow, and her longing for the love that was so brutally taken from her have become the cornerstone of the Driscoll's haunting. Imagine yourself walking through the quiet halls late at night. The sound of your footsteps echoes against the marble floors, but then you hear something else. A soft rustle, as if fabric is dragging across the floor. You turn, expecting to see another late-night guest, but no one is there. Just the faintest flicker of something, a figure dressed in a wedding gown, her face hidden in shadows, moving silently through the hall. She doesn't look at you. She doesn't speak. She simply walks, searching for something or someone. Guests have reported this very same apparition wandering the hotel, often in the dead of night. The bride, consumed by grief, moves with a mournful determination. And sometimes, just before she vanishes, she pauses, staring out the large windows of the hotel, as though waiting for her love to return. There have also been other sightings, particularly in the upstairs hallways and the balcony, where the bride's tragic death occurred. Some say they've seen her standing by the railing, her figure translucent, gazing down as if waiting for someone to come to her. When guests approach, she disappears into thin air, as if she never existed at all. But it's not just apparitions that make the Driscoll Hotel so unsettling. The hotel is alive with strange occurrences that no one can explain. Doors slamming on their own, as though invisible hands are trying to push you out. Cold drafts that seem to appear out of nowhere, followed by a chill that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. A guest reported hearing footsteps behind them in the otherwise silent halls. When they turned around, no one was there. The echoes of footsteps grew louder and faster, as if someone was in pursuit, chasing them down the long hallway. But when they ran to the elevator and turned back, it was empty, not a soul in sight. Some visitors have even reported a sudden pressure on their chest, as if something unseen was pushing down on them, making it difficult to breathe. This sensation often occurs in the grand ballroom, where guests say they've felt an oppressive weight, as though the past is suffocating them with its memories. Paranormal investigators have made the Driscoll Hotel a frequent stop on their hunts for the supernatural. One team used thermal cameras and motion sensors to document strange activity in the upper floors. The footage they captured showed a shadowy figure crossing the hallway, moving too fast to be human. In the ballroom, their equipment picked up unexplained noises, the sound of soft sobbing followed by faint footsteps. Another team recorded EVP, electronic voice phenomena, capturing a clear whisper, "I'm waiting." It's believed that the voice belongs to the bride, her sorrow still echoing through the walls, unable to let go of the love she lost. The recordings sent shivers down the spine of everyone who heard them, a reminder that some spirits are forever trapped in time, reliving the moments of their death over and over again. For those who stay at the Driscoll, the question is never whether they'll encounter a ghost, but when. The hotel's haunting legacy continues to lure guests from around the world, many leaving with more than just a memorable stay. They leave with a lingering feeling that something followed them home. The Driscoll Hotel has etched its name into the paranormal history books, its tragic past and the spirits that haunt it ensuring its place as one of the most haunted hotels in Texas. For those brave enough to spend the night, the question remains, will you encounter the bride, still searching for her lost love? Or will you simply become another spirit that never truly leaves? Haunted place number 5, Memorial Hospital, Yorktown. You step into the dark, abandoned halls of the Yorktown Memorial Hospital, the faint echo of your footsteps bouncing off the cold, crumbling walls. The air is thick with dust and decay, and the atmosphere feels heavy, like the building itself is holding its breath. Every corner you turn seems to hide something more sinister, something that never left. The hospital, once a place of healing, now holds the spirits of those who never walked out. There's an undeniable tension in the air, a feeling that something unseen is watching your every move, as if the building itself is alive with the memories of pain, suffering, and death. And that's the unsettling truth about Yorktown Memorial. The spirits that haunt it are not just residual. They are active, and they are waiting. Built in 1951, Yorktown Memorial Hospital was once a thriving medical facility. But as the years passed, the hospital's reputation became clouded with dark rumors. The hospital, known for treating mentally ill patients, was the site of countless tragic and unexplained deaths. The building was eventually abandoned in 1986, but not before many lives were lost within its walls, lives that were often filled with sorrow and violence. Many believe that the spirits of those who died here, whether from neglect, illness, or even mistreatment, still linger in the halls of the hospital, unable to move on. The hospital's dark past and its history of unresolved suffering have made it one of the most haunted places in Texas. The haunting at Yorktown Memorial is believed to be tied to the mysterious deaths of former patients, particularly those in the mental health ward. The hospital's abandonment left many souls trapped, their unfinished business lingering in the oppressive air. It is said that those who passed under tragic or violent circumstances were not at peace when they died, and their spirits have remained here, trapped within the very walls that once confined them. The old operating rooms, where lives were once saved or lost, are considered particularly haunted, with many paranormal investigators reporting unusual activity, including ghostly figures and unexplained noises. But it's not just the spirits of the patients that haunt the place. Some believe the ghosts of former staff members, nurses and doctors, are also trapped in the hospital, unable to leave after their tragic ends. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported a wide array of eerie encounters within Yorktown Memorial. One chilling story comes from a visitor who, while walking through the abandoned operating room, suddenly felt the unmistakable sensation of someone breathing down their neck. Turning around, they were met with an empty room, yet the feeling of being watched did not subside. They were not alone. In another unsettling account, a group of explorers reported hearing disembodied footsteps following them as they ventured deeper into the hospital. At first, they thought it was just the creaking of the old building settling, but the footsteps grew louder, closer, as if someone or something was walking right behind them. When they turned around to investigate, no one was there, only the cold, empty corridors stretching out into the darkness. Perhaps the most disturbing stories come from the mental health ward. Many people claim to have seen shadowy figures moving behind the windows, their faces obscured by the grimy glass. But when they peer inside, the rooms are empty. Other visitors have reported seeing silhouettes of figures standing in the hallways, only for them to vanish as quickly as they appeared. Yorktown Memorial Hospital is rife with paranormal activity. Cold spots are frequently reported in various parts of the building, especially in the former patient rooms and hallways. Investigators often find temperature drops so drastic that their breath fogs in the air, even though there is no explanation for the sudden chill. There have also been numerous reports of doors slamming shut on their own, some of them so forceful that the entire building seems to tremble. Items, such as chairs and old medical equipment, have been seen moving on their own, as if pushed by invisible hands. And the most disturbing phenomenon, EVPs, electronic voice phenomena. Many investigators have captured strange whispers, cries, and even voices saying, "Help" or "Get out" during their investigations. In recent years, paranormal teams have visited Yorktown Memorial, equipped with cameras, EVP recorders, and motion sensors, hoping to capture proof of the supernatural. One investigation caught something particularly chilling, a faint voice on their recorder saying, "Don't go." It was so clear and distinct that it sent shivers through the entire team. The voice was unexplainable, and the team later reviewed the footage to find no one near the recorder at the time. Yorktown Memorial Hospital has become a well-known location for ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike. Its dark past, coupled with the countless reports of ghostly encounters, has earned it a reputation as one of Texas' most haunted places. Visitors are drawn to its eerie charm, but they often leave with far more than they expected. An unsettling feeling that the spirits within the hospital are still very much alive, trapped in a place where death never truly came. For those brave enough to venture into its depths, the question isn't if you'll encounter a ghost, but how many you'll meet. Haunted place number 6, Old Park Hotel, Ballinger. The air is thick with an unnatural stillness as you step into the dimly lit lobby of the Old Park Hotel in Ballinger. The clock on the wall ticks slowly, each second echoing louder than the last, as if time itself is reluctant to move forward. You feel a weight pressing on your chest, and though the building is quiet, you can't shake the feeling that you're not alone. The faintest murmurs fill the air, just out of reach, as though something or someone is speaking, but you can't make out the words. The building seems frozen in time, and yet it feels like the past is watching you, lingering in the shadows. The Old Park Hotel is like no other. A place where the spirits of the dead still walk, their souls trapped in a never-ending loop. Built in the late 1800s, this hotel has been witness to countless deaths, some natural, others violent. But it's one particular death that keeps the spirits restless, forever tied to this place. The Old Park Hotel has seen its fair share of tragedy. As an established landmark, it's hosted numerous guests, but the building's history is stained by the murder of the hotel's owner. The story goes that in the early 1900s, a brutal killing took place within these very walls. The owner, a well-respected man in the community, was found dead under mysterious circumstances. The crime was never fully solved, and some believe the spirit of the owner remains trapped here, vengeful and angry, never able to find peace. This dark event casts a long shadow over the hotel, and many believe it's the restless spirit of the owner who haunts the building, waiting for something or someone to release him from his torment. The tragedy of the owner's death seems to have awakened something within the hotel. Spirits of those who have stayed here, or perhaps those who met untimely ends within these walls, now roam the halls. Some say that the spirit of the owner remains, still trying to find justice, still angry at the world that left him in such a cruel way. And his vengeful presence is felt more strongly by those who stay in the rooms near where he was killed, as if he's still searching for answers. One visitor, a traveler staying at the Old Park Hotel, recounts a terrifying experience. Walking down a long, dimly lit hallway, They felt the unsettling sensation of being followed, slow, deliberate footsteps just behind them. They quickened their pace, but the footsteps quickened too, matching their every step. Heart pounding, they turned around, expecting to see someone, only to find the hallway empty, silent, and still. There was no one there, no one following. But the feeling remained thick and suffocating. Others who stayed at the hotel report seeing strange, shadowy figures in the windows at night. At first, they seem like ordinary silhouettes, but when you get closer to investigate, they vanish. Some have even claimed to see these dark figures staring directly at them from the outside, their eyes cold and unblinking. But when they step outside to confront the mysterious watchers, no one is there, just the empty, silent streets of Ballinger stretching before them. The Old Park Hotel is a haven for strange, unexplainable occurrences. It's not just the ghostly figures that have made this place famous. There have been numerous reports of objects moving on their own, chairs shifting positions, doors opening and closing with no one near them. One guest reported hearing knocks on the door, only to open it and find no one standing there. Cold spots are a common occurrence throughout the hotel, but one of the creepiest places is the upstairs hallway, where guests report a sudden drop in temperature. Those who've stayed there often feel an overwhelming sensation of dread, as if something unseen is watching them, waiting for the right moment to strike. Over the years, investigators have ventured into the Old Park Hotel with their equipment, EMF detectors, thermal cameras, and EVP recorders, to try and capture evidence of the supernatural. One investigation revealed a chilling response from the other side. When the team asked, "Are you here with us?" the recorder picked up a faint voice, responding, "I'm waiting." The voice was calm but cold, as though the spirit of the hotel's owner, or something far darker, was standing just out of sight, waiting for someone to acknowledge it. The team also caught shadowy figures moving across the thermal camera, figures that seemed to dart in and out of the frame, never fully clear but always present, lingering in the corners of the building. The Old Park Hotel has become a place of legend, a must-see for those interested in the paranormal. Its dark history, combined with the eerie phenomena reported by guests, has cemented its place as one of the most haunted locations in Texas. Those who dare to stay here often leave with more than just a tale of a night spent in a historic hotel. They leave with a story of encounters with the dead, with something beyond this world, something that lingers long after they've checked out. But for the restless spirits trapped here, the hotel is not just a building, it's a prison. And for those brave enough to enter, the question remains, will you be able to leave with your soul intact, or will you become another shadow in the halls of the Old Park Hotel? Haunted place number 7, the Spaghetti Warehouse, Dallas. You step into the dimly lit interior of the Spaghetti Warehouse in Dallas. The faint smell of marinara sauce mixing with the stale air of a building that has seen more than its fair share of history. Once a bustling warehouse, this place now serves as a restaurant, but something far more sinister lingers. The floorboards creak beneath your feet, and the silence is broken only by the faint sound of mysterious tapping, as if someone or something is knocking on the walls from the other side. Your gaze drifts to the shadows in the corner, where you feel an unsettling presence watching you. Something is here, and it's waiting. The Spaghetti Warehouse has long been a hotspot for paranormal activity, with its history tied to tragedy and death. It's not just a place for pasta and garlic bread. It's a place where restless souls roam the very halls, unable to move on. And the spirit of one, in particular, is the one that draws the most attention, the ghost of the Shadow Man. Built in the early 20th century, this location was originally a warehouse before it was converted into a restaurant. But it was during the building's construction that tragedy struck. A worker, performing maintenance high above, tragically fell to his death. Some say it wasn't an accident. There are rumors of foul play. The man's spirit, forever bound to the place, is said to haunt the warehouse, his presence felt by all who enter. The ghost is often referred to as the Shadow Man, a figure who moves swiftly and silently through the building, his form seen only in fleeting glimpses. While the official story is that of a tragic accident, there are whispers among the employees and regulars that the shadowy figure that roams these halls isn't simply a lost soul. He's angry, seeking revenge for his untimely death. His presence isn't just felt, it's seen. The haunting of the spaghetti warehouse began with the tragic fall of that worker, but over time, more spirits joined the ranks. The workers of the building who died under violent or unexplained circumstances seem to have stayed unable to find rest. Their souls are trapped within these walls, unable to move on from the events that occurred here. The Shadow Man, however, is the most active and the most reported. It's said that his dark figure can be seen moving quickly through the restaurant, darting from one shadow to the next. It's a chilling sight, a face that never shows itself, just a tall, dark silhouette that brings an overwhelming sense of unease to anyone who sees it. Many who have dined at the spaghetti warehouse recount spine-chilling experiences. One customer remembers sitting at their table, enjoying a quiet meal, when they suddenly heard a disembodied voice call their name. They turned, expecting to see the server, but there was no one around. The voice had come from nowhere. Others have witnessed objects moving on their own, plates shifting across tables, glasses sliding along the bar, and silverware falling to the floor with no apparent cause. A couple once reported a fork moving from the center of their table and spinning off to the side, as if something unseen had nudged it. It's a phenomenon that has occurred multiple times, with no explanation other than the presence of the restless spirits that roam these halls. One particularly unsettling encounter involved a customer who was pushed from behind while sitting at a table. They were alone at the time, enjoying their meal, when they suddenly felt a strong shove against their back, causing them to stumble forward. They spun around, expecting to find someone behind them, but there was no one there, just an empty, quiet dining room. The sensation of being touched by an unseen force left the customer shaken, unable to explain the experience. It's not just the apparitions and the moving objects that make the spaghetti warehouse so unsettling. The building seems to be alive with paranormal activity, and guests regularly report cold spots, sudden drops in temperature that are completely unexplainable. They've often felt these cold zones creeping up around their tables, as if a presence is drawing closer, just out of view. Employees have also reported strange noises, footsteps that echo down empty hallways, and the unmistakable sound of chains rattling. It's a sound that seems to come from nowhere, but there's no logical explanation for it. And when employees have tried to investigate, they report seeing the shadows move, retreating into corners and disappearing as quickly as they appear. Paranormal investigators have visited the spaghetti warehouse, armed with all sorts of equipment to capture evidence of the supernatural. One investigation led to a thermal camera capturing what appeared to be a dark figure moving swiftly through the room, its outline jagged and blurry, like a shadow that couldn't belong to any living person. Other teams have recorded strange EVP, electronic voice phenomena, on their equipment, with one particularly chilling message: "I didn't fall." The voice, cold and angry, sent a chill down the spines of the investigators. Was this the voice of the worker who died, still angry about his fall? Or was it the voice of another spirit, equally restless? The atmosphere in the spaghetti warehouse is thick with tension, the dim lighting casting long shadows across the restaurant. The spaghetti warehouse is not just a restaurant. It's a place where the past refuses to stay buried. The spirits of the workers, and the Shadow Man in particular, have ensured that this location remains a constant site of paranormal intrigue. Guests come for the food, but many leave with a story that they'll never forget. The question remains: will you be the next one to feel the presence of the restless spirits, or will you be pushed to leave as if something or someone is watching you from the shadows, waiting for you to look away just long enough? Haunted Place Number 8, The Witch's Grave, Gainesville. You step into the overgrown cemetery, the air heavy with the scent of damp earth. A soft wind rustles the leaves, but there's something else, something faint, something unsettling. It's the whispers. They come from nowhere and everywhere, as if the wind itself carries the voices of those long past. You feel an unnatural cold creeping up your spine, and your heart begins to race. There's a feeling in the air, as if something is watching you, waiting for you to come closer. And then, just ahead, you see it. The witch's grave. This is no ordinary grave. It's a place so cursed that the very ground seems to hum with dark energy. A resting place for a woman accused of witchcraft. It's said that her anger and hatred still fuel the haunting that plagues this grave to this very day. Her spirit refuses to rest, trapped in a place that was meant to silence her. The witch's grave in Gainesville is the final resting place of a woman, a supposed witch who met a tragic and gruesome end. Accused of practicing dark magic, she was sentenced to death in the most horrific way, buried alive in this very cemetery. It's said that as she was lowered into the ground, her screams echoed, but no one came to help her. Her spirit, filled with rage and fear, never left. Some believe she still wanders the earth, seeking revenge on those who wronged her. It's this brutal death, this unfinished business, that seems to have bound her to the grave. Her fury and pain still pulse within the earth, making it a place where the living dare not linger too long. Visitors to the graveyard have reported chilling encounters near the grave. Ghostly whispers can be heard near the site, low murmurs that seem to come from the earth itself. Some even say the whispers sound like her voice, calling out in torment, as if she's still trapped beneath the weight of the soil, desperate for release. But the whispers aren't the only thing that haunts this grave. Others have claimed to see glowing lights floating above the grave at night. These strange lights drift lazily through the air, their soft glow casting an eerie hue on the tombstone. No one can explain where they come from, just that they appear as if drawn by some unseen force, glowing bright against the dark night sky. Standing near the grave, you can feel it, the pressure building in the air. The atmosphere shifts, becoming thick and suffocating. Those who have dared to stand too close to the grave report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as though something unseen is trying to pull them into the earth. The ground beneath you feels alive, as if it's reaching out to claim you, just as it did the witch centuries ago. The cold, oppressive feeling creeps up your neck, and it's not just the temperature that drops, it's your very sense of safety. Visitors often feel as though they're not alone, as if someone or something is standing right behind them, watching, waiting. The witch's grave has become a place where the dead refuse to be forgotten, where anger and fear have kept a spirit bound to the earth for centuries. It's a place that visitors approach with caution, aware that some graves are more than just resting places. They are reminders of spirits that cannot, or will not, move on. For those brave enough to visit, the question remains, what will you hear when you stand at the grave? What will you see? And will you feel the pull of the earth beneath you, as the witch's anger draws you ever closer to the darkness? Haunted place number 9. The Jefferson Hotel, Jefferson. The air inside the Jefferson Hotel is thick with history, its opulent walls holding stories of luxury and mystery, where the past hasn't just stayed behind, but refuses to leave. You step into the lobby, the grand chandelier casting flickering shadows across the room. The silence is palpable, but then, just as you begin to relax, you hear it. A soft tapping, like a distant knock echoing through the empty halls. But when you look around, you're alone. The hairs on the back of your neck stand on end as the temperature seems to drop. It's as if the hotel itself is alive, breathing through the darkness and watching. Welcome to the Jefferson Hotel in East Texas, a place steeped in ghostly phenomena and chilling tales. It was once a grand destination for travelers seeking comfort and luxury. But beneath its beauty, there's an unsettling presence, restless spirits who roam its halls, unable to leave. Some are harmless, but others are filled with anger, vengeance, and warnings for those who stay too long. The Jefferson Hotel has long been known for its eerie reputation, drawing both history buffs and ghost hunters alike. Built in the 1800s, It has witnessed decades of change, from bustling guests to its eventual quiet decline. But what makes it infamous are the tragic events that occurred within its walls, and the spirits that still linger as a result. One of the most notorious stories is that of a man named Claude, a guest who met a violent end in the hotel. He was murdered in cold blood, and the tragic circumstances of his death left his spirit restless. Now, it's said that Claude's vengeful ghost haunts the bar and lobby, his presence heavy in the air as if he's still looking for something or someone who wronged him. But Claude isn't the only spirit who calls the Jefferson Hotel home. The hotel is also haunted by a woman in a long black gown, who is often seen walking through the hallways, her face obscured by the shadows of her veil. Guests who encounter her often report an overwhelming sense of foreboding, and she's been known to appear just before disaster, warning visitors of impending danger. The hauntings at the Jefferson Hotel seem to be rooted in the violent deaths that occurred here, particularly the murder of Claude. His restless spirit, filled with unresolved anger and a desire for justice, is said to wander the hotel, unable to find peace. And it's not just his apparition that haunts the hotel. The woman in the black gown, believed to be tied to some other tragic event, is said to warn guests of danger, perhaps a reminder of the hotel's past, a past full of violence and loss. Many believe that the spirits of both Claude and the woman are trapped within the hotel, unable to leave because their deaths were untimely and violent. They linger, their energies intertwining with the hotel's walls, creating a place where the living and the dead are inextricably connected. Guests at the Jefferson Hotel have reported seeing Claude's apparition in the bar, standing alone with a drink in hand, his eyes filled with an emotionless stare. His form is dark, indistinct, and he seems to disappear just as quickly as he's seen. The atmosphere around him is cold, almost suffocating, as though he's not just a spirit, but an angry force, trapped in time, unable to move on. Others have encountered the woman in the black gown as she drifts silently through the hotel's hallways. Her appearance is chilling. The veil of her gown hides her face, but the aura of dread she brings is unmistakable. Guests who have seen her claim she exudes a sense of warning, as if she knows something terrible is about to happen. One visitor reported seeing her near the staircase, her presence so overwhelming that they immediately felt compelled to leave the hotel, only to later hear that a fire had broken out in the very room they had been staying in. The tapping sounds are among the most frequently reported phenomena in the Jefferson Hotel. Guests often hear the distinct sound of tapping on doors, but when they open them, they find nothing but empty rooms. The sound seems to come from nowhere, like a subtle, repetitive knock from an unseen hand. There have also been reports of cold spots appearing in certain rooms, cold enough to make your breath visible, yet no logical explanation for the sudden chill. These cold spots are particularly concentrated in the areas near the lobby and the bar, where Claude's spirit is most often seen. Many visitors have also reported feelings of being watched, particularly in the older parts of the hotel. It's not a passing sensation. It's a constant, lingering feeling that someone is there, right behind them, watching their every move. The oppressive atmosphere in these rooms makes it impossible to shake the feeling that they are not alone. Over the years, paranormal investigators have flocked to the Jefferson Hotel, eager to capture evidence of its ghostly inhabitants. One team used EVP recorders in the bar area, and their recording revealed a voice saying, "I never left." Another team captured footage of what appeared to be a shadowy figure moving across the lobby, the silhouette of a man that seemed to vanish as soon as it came into view. Other investigators have documented temperature fluctuations, with the room temperature dropping drastically, especially in the areas where Claude's ghost has been seen. And in one of the hotel's more famous rooms, the EVP recorder picked up a chilling whisper, "Get out." The Jefferson Hotel has earned its place as one of the most haunted places in Texas, and its reputation for ghostly encounters continues to grow. Guests come looking for a piece of history, but leave with more than they bargained for. Stories of strange occurrences, lingering spirits, and warnings from the past that still refuse to stay buried. For those brave enough to stay, the question is never whether you'll experience the haunting, but when. And for some, the presence of Claude or the woman in the black gown might just be the least of their worries. Haunted place number 10, the Bell Witch Cave, Adams. The air inside the Bell Witch Cave is thick, damp, and heavy with a sense of dread that seems to cling to your skin. As you step deeper into the cave, your breath catches in your throat, each step echoing against the cold, stone walls. Whispers seem to follow you, faint at first, but growing louder as you move further into the darkness. The hair on the back of your neck stands on end, and you can't shake the feeling that something or someone is watching you. The atmosphere here feels wrong, as though the very ground beneath you is steeped in an ancient, restless energy. This is no ordinary cave. This is the Bell Witch Cave, a place steeped in dark history, where the spirit of the infamous Bell Witch is said to still linger, waiting for her next victim. The Bell Witch Cave is tied directly to one of the most terrifying and enduring hauntings in American history, the Bell Witch haunting in Tennessee. In the early 19th century, the Bell family was tormented by an unseen force in their home, a spirit that grew more violent and malevolent over time. Many believe the spirit that haunted them, known as the Bell Witch, still resides in this cave. It's said that her spirit, full of anger and vengeance, was drawn to this location, where she continues to linger in the shadows, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to cross her path. The legend of the Bell, which has been passed down through generations, and while some dismiss it as mere folklore, many others believe that the malevolent spirit never left. The Bell Witch Cave is said to be the epicenter of her dark energy, a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead are thin. The Bell Witch's haunting is believed to have begun in 1817, when the Bell family began to experience strange occurrences in their home, scratching noises, whispers, and even physical attacks. It's said that the spirit was particularly malevolent towards the family's daughter, Kate Bell, whom the witch reportedly tormented relentlessly. While the haunting eventually stopped, many believe that the spirit of the witch, angered and vengeful, was never truly vanquished. Instead, she retreated into the cave, where she continues to haunt the land, still seeking revenge on those who crossed her. Those brave enough to venture into the cave have reported sightings of shadowy figures moving just out of view, lurking in the dark recesses of the cave. One particularly chilling encounter comes from a visitor who reported seeing shadows darting across the cave walls, moving unnaturally fast, as if they were aware of the observer, but refusing to reveal themselves completely. But the shadows are only part of the terrifying experience. Visitors have also reported hearing an evil laugh, deep, menacing, and echoing off the cave walls, reverberating through the entire space. It's a laugh that seems to come from nowhere, growing louder with each passing second, until it fills the cave, sending a chill down the spine of anyone who hears it. Some have even claimed to feel as though they were being suffocated by an invisible force, their chests tightening, the air becoming thick and hard to breathe. It's as if the cave itself is alive with a malevolent presence, pushing against them, trying to squeeze the life out of them. The cave is a hot spot for paranormal activity. EVP recordings are common, with many visitors capturing strange voices on their devices. One paranormal investigation in the cave revealed something particularly disturbing. A faint whisper caught on camera, barely audible but unmistakable. "Leave now." It's a chilling message, one that seems to confirm the theory that the Bell Witch's spirit is not only active but is aware of those who enter her domain. Visitors have also reported sudden drops in temperature, cold spots that seem to appear without warning, leaving them feeling as though they've been transported into another world. Some even claim to have heard their names called out from the shadows, only to turn around and find nothing there but the darkness. As you stand in the cave, the air feels thick with anticipation, as if something is about to happen. Your breath fogs in the chill air, and you can feel it, the weight of the unseen, pressing down on you, suffocating you with its cold embrace. It's as if the Bell Witch herself is there, just out of sight, watching, waiting. The shadows seem to move when you're not looking, and the whispers grow louder, more insistent. It's not just a sense of being watched. It's the feeling that something malevolent is closing in. The Bell Witch Cave has become a legend, drawing visitors and paranormal investigators from around the world. Its dark reputation continues to haunt the area, with locals warning others not to venture too far into the cave, lest they stir the wrath of the witch. For those who enter, the question isn't whether or not they will feel the Bell Witch's presence, but how long it will take before they do. For some, the haunting remains a story to be told around a campfire. But for others, it's a terrifying reality. And the Bell Witch? She's still waiting. From haunted hotels and hospitals to cursed graves, Texas holds dark secrets beneath its surface. Are these places truly haunted by evil spirits, or is it all just folklore? As we've traveled through some of the most terrifying locations across the Lone Star State, one thing is clear. There's something more lurking in the shadows, something that refuses to stay buried. From restless spirits searching for justice to dark forces trapped in time, the stories of these haunted places leave us questioning just how much of the supernatural world we truly understand. But are these legends real? Or are they merely eerie stories passed down through the years, growing more twisted with each telling? The truth may be more terrifying than we can imagine. What do you think? Are these legends true, or are they just eerie stories passed down over time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want more spine-chilling content, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Don't forget to share this video with anyone who loves a good ghost story. And hit that bell icon so you never miss a terrifying tale from the most haunted corners of Texas. Before you go, listen carefully. Do you hear that? The faint sound of footsteps slowly getting closer.